go. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rap.
Crash Course, beautiful, Rap Culture.
Right? I've been cussing you off about getting it wrong the whole time, and there we are. Here we go.
Crash Course, Rap Culture.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crash Course Rap Culture. I am Marc Samuels.
And I am Cristina. This is our first interview for 2024.
Welcome, we made it.
Finally made it.
Terrible year.
We didn't die.
We did it. Yo, clap it up for that. Yes. Yes.
We didn't die.
Amen.
Amen.
Yep. All right, and we have our first guest of our season and our interview session. So, I would love it if you could introduce yourself.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
What's going on? It's your boy TMG. I'm also known as Yonge Garvey. I brought my boy right here.
Joey Rose out here. You know what it is, man.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, please.
And, man, just shout out to you guys. I love your energy and vibe already. We did a couple of pre-interview questions, and they just seemed like really good people, so we're going to get right into it. All right?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
You already know, this show is about rap music. It's about the culture. We have just finished celebrating 50 years of the culture. And that means I gotta ask the inevitable question right off rip. Top 5 dead or alive. You gotta let me know. All right, let's start. Let's start with Garvey.
Yeah.
Top 5 dead or alive.
Yeah.
Like I have my 5 guys that like I rock with.
Yeah.
You know, Tupac.
Okay. Of
Nas. Big L.
Oh.
Rakim.
Okay.
Kanye West, man.
Okay. Big up Kanye.
Alright.
Hey, shout out to that.
Classic.
Damn.
Those are my 5 guys right there.
I was trying to find somebody to dispute with. That's kind of indisputable.
As for myself, it's a tough question. I'm a little peculiar.
Ooh.
Peculiar.
Yeah.
Okay, we like to hear it.
I'm a little, you know.
Let's hear it.
Kendrick Lamar. I mean, that's, you know.
That's not peculiar.
You know, that's not peculiar.
It's not peculiar.
That's not
great.
peculiar.
Normal.
But number 2, and honestly, it would be my number 1. To be honest with you, Earl Sweatshirt.
Definitely.
Earl
No, you
Sweatshirt.
get a clap for that one.
Crazy.
Wow.
You get a clap for that one. I love that.
Crazy.
I love that.
Crazy.
The young youths know.
First off, because one, West Coast rappers don't get enough love anymore.
They really
No.
They really
True.
don't. And 2, Earl Sweatshirt did his homework.
He's a truth. I'm just saying.
Right.
Who else? Andre 3000 for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
For
Flute
sure.
man
For
himself,
sure.
Clarinet man himself.
Yep. Yeah. Then like Kanye for sure. I will say Mac Miller definitely.
Oh,
yeah. I'm gonna throw that in there as a wild card. To be honest,
I like it.
To be honest,
I respect the pick.
as a wild card.
I respect
As a wild card for sure.
All right, we'll give you that. That's pretty good
As a
choices.
wild
Okay, so
card.
where do you guys feel maybe either the disconnect from your generation and rap music till now? Like, do you feel like your generation doesn't really feel rap as tough as they used to? Because when we were, rap was everything for us. Everything was rap. All your parties had to do with rap. There was always rap parties. There was always battles. Do you feel like there's a disconnect with your generation now in rap music?
To be honest with you, there's a lot of different perspectives when it comes to that topic. Like, there's a lot of young rappers that don't really want to hear rap. They want to hear like melody.
Yeah, like pop rap.
Pop rap.
Yeah.
And or like new wave or whatever they want to call it. There's a lot of kids out here that love rap. Like, maybe not rap from the 90s, but in the past decade, you know, the ASAP Rockies, the Tyler the Creators, the Kendricks, the J. Coles, the Drakes, the Meek Mills, the Wale's and stuff like that. They might not want to hear the Pacs, the Tribes, the Wu-Tangs, the Mobb Deep, Farside, DMX, like, you know what I mean? What I think, to be honest with you, is like a lot of people want to hear rap, but I feel like a lot of the time it's not really our people. It's internationally.
I was hoping
Facts.
so.
No facts.
This is spitting.
If I'm being totally honest, the biggest consumers,
be honest with it.
The biggest consumers of like that raw, gritty hip hop that we really like as people that are outside of like our race, man, our color. Like when you go to Europe, when you go to Asia,
it's true.
Sometimes
Korea for sure.
Korea, you know
Japan,
what I mean?
for sure. They're heavily into rap music now.
Yeah.
Words still are. Even reggae, they're into that too.
Yeah,
heavy,
that's the thing too.
Heavy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I also feel though. I feel like with the new generation of rap, right? Like it's not necessarily a disconnect. I think it's just everything's evolving now.
Yeah.
So first of all, we can have the conversation about what's being pushed to our generation, right? Like if you scroll social media, right? Like what are you seeing?
Yeah.
You're seeing mostly
Sexy
like
reds.
like you know the just most out of pocket
like that's
like
as we're going back to the ratchet era
again. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also feel like so rap has been growing for so long and so rapidly in the same way that rock kind of it plateaued and just evened out. Like I don't think there's necessarily like people aren't looking for rap, but we're gonna see it just even out. Like you know, people from my generation, I think now they're looking for a bunch of other things, right? Like
I don't find like a lot of our, even your generation or my generation, like we still try to keep up, but it's our attention keeps getting steered into a different direction, and it's definitely where social media is going. I'm not saying rap is dead, but it seems like they're trying to kill it in a different way. So
well, I also think that there is something to be said for generational gaps as well. Like I always try to make sure that I'm defending the 20-year-olds, the people in their 20s as much as I can, because when you look at like some of the people that we mentioned, the Tyler the Creators, the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamar's, even for the young girls, the Nicki Minaj's, them dudes ain't young.
No.
They've been going for almost 15 years now. So those are their OGs. When like it's popular for people from our generation to be like, you know, like where's the people listening to Pete Rock? Where's the people listening to Tupac and Biggie and Wu-Tang Clan? That's real hip hop. But that's because when we were coming up, that was 15 years ago. You know, so this is their generation of that, and they're trying to figure it out the same way we were. I know people our age like to nostalgia goggles our era a little 90s. Bit. Like we didn't have MC Hammer. Like we didn't have Vanilla Ice. Even in the 2000s, like the biggest songs on the radio were Jaquan, Trick Daddy. You know what I mean? Not everything was Twista and Common. You know, so I think that it's cool that the kids are having a little bit more fun now. I like that they're enjoying their bit, and I really appreciate what you guys said about the international markets, because that changes. Somebody else's interpretation of hip-hop culture right now is Burna Boy. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what they're seeing as the culture right now.
Definitely.
I hear that.
Absolutely 100%.
But that said, we are here in the city of Toronto, something that we are acknowledging on the show for the first time ever, because we don't really talk about.
We really do the US, and I said that's it. We need to do a Canadian rappers.
No, she went hard. She went in. She got like, a Toronto.
I'm like, we need to deal with Toronto rappers more, because they're Toronto Canadian rappers, period, because they're just behind the scenes. They're there. There's you. When I saw you perform, like, oh, I never heard of this guy before. It's because everything is like here, and everybody wants to put US rappers on a pedestal. I get it. Everybody talks about boroughs, and everybody talks about, you know, Philly rappers, Atlanta rappers, and all that. But there's so much going on here in the city that people are ignoring. And do you find that Toronto gets like no one really wants to listen to Toronto rap? Is it just the fact that like if you're not Drake, you're not it? You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to know.
Well, you know what? Here's what I will have to say about that. I think that a lot of people don't have access. Well, not don't have access. A lot of people aren't going to greater lengths to find talent that they want in the city. I feel that, you know, a lot of people are being pressured to make a certain kind of sound because that is what's popping in America. For example, there's a lot of rappers out here that make music talking about they're in the trap and they got all the girls and they're killing this person, that person, and
slide on the ops,
and you know, they have all this jewelry on and all these different European brands that don't care about your black ass.
Preach. Go ahead.
Let's just be honest about it. Like, a lot of these European brands don't care about your black ass, but you're killing somebody to wear their jeans.
100%.
Right?
Say it again.
So what I have to say about that is, like, there's a lot of talent in Toronto. Some people just won't take the time to spend $30 and go to a cypher and see new talent. I feel like sometimes people are not like trying to like listen to something that isn't what's mainstream. A lot of people are stuck on having a short attention span when it comes to music. If it doesn't capture them in the first 10 seconds, they're not really trying to hear it. Yeah. There's a lot of talent in Toronto. There's a lot of talent in the GTA. Yeah. In the Greater Toronto, and there's a lot of talent like even outside of those places. Like you know, if you go to Kitchener, if you go to Milton, if you go to like other parts of Ontario, you'll find a lot of talent. Even other parts of Canada, but Toronto is like the big city. Yeah,
a lot of hard dudes coming out of Montreal.
Montreal's going crazy.
Yeah.
Montreal's going crazy right now, but
it's not changing big time.
Yeah, but speaking of Toronto though, like I also think it's partly like we never had the structure. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like in the States, it's been established. The record labels are run out of the States. Like it's way easier to get fed stuff from the States because realistically, like the U.S. was the culture for I don't know how long, like until very recently, and then Drake took over, and then you know we have people even
trying to sound like Drake.
Yeah, no, but even in Canada, like people like Justin Bieber, like no, he doesn't rap, but it helped build structure so that now even the new rappers, like at least there's a bit more in place to kind of get you in front of the right people, right? Like I think the pages, like the Toronto pages, are getting bigger and being followed by, and honestly, like even seeing things like Americans copy our accent. It is, but at the same time though. But at the same time though, it's like, but now we're being seen. You know what I mean? Like now at least they're paying attention to some degree.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I pushed this Canadian version of the show, because we're not seen, man. And like we see a lot of podcasts, and I think you've been on one podcast where, you know, they talk about Canadian rappers or whatever, but are they really reaching out to enough Canadian rappers? Like I want to reach out to, that's why I'm going to as many ciphers as possible, because I'm just gathering people that need to be seen, right? Your talent, for example, I was like, whoa, this kid came out of, like, I was sitting there and I was sitting in the back of the chair and everyone was talking to me and I wasn't hearing a word they were saying. I was focused. Like, he spent from the heart talking about your uncle and what your uncle went through. Like, that touched me. I'm like, only a real man, I'll be honest with you, only a real man brought up right is going to talk about what he went through and what was traumatic for him, and then put that into like poetry, put that into music, and I respect that 100% for you.
I appreciate that. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, you really brought yourself out there, and I think that's why everyone's just like, okay, this kid's gonna be something. And then you brought me your music. I was like, yo, this kid's gonna be something.
I appreciate that still, because like I put a lot of time into it, and you know I spent years. You can even ask my boy right now. I spent years just trying to like perform and get myself out there, and I'm not gonna say any names, but I'm gonna look directly in the camera, and I've reached out to a lot of different podcasts in the city of Toronto, and I'll tell you right now, a lot of you guys, all you do is promote when a famous rapper from Toronto gets killed. That's the main headline for the first week. Number one. Number two, when you guys have guys like us reach out to you guys because we want to build. People say you have to be established, or you have to have this amount of followers, or you have to have this amount of views, or you gotta have this amount of buzz in the street. But how are we gonna get that buzz in the street if we're not getting any type of if there's no infrastructure, or we're not getting any type of challenge or any type of chance to fail?
And I'm glad that you said that. I want to step in on that and go right ahead and talk to them too. Because one thing that I am very certain of is a lot of those same podcasts, a lot of those same blogs, a lot of those same Twitter pages, like your No Jumpers and all that, a lot of them are sitting here and making a lot of money off of Black Death. Yeah. And a lot of them are not run by black people.
Yeah.
Fact. I do wanna steer it to a little more positivity. Right. You said that Toronto is just now starting to be seen. And I agree with that. I think that Toronto is starting to be seen on a world stage. So my question is to both of you guys, what is it that Toronto rap music is bringing to the culture that nobody else can bring to the culture?
I think we're still trying to figure that out, bro.
Yeah,
to be honest,
that's an honest, real answer.
I think we're still trying to figure that out because there's different, just like New York and LA and Atlanta, all these places. There's like the nerds, there's the goons, there's the in betweens, and there's the artsy people.
Yeah,
right.
I'm the artsy person.
That's it, man. Artsy can do whatever, right? You can be a part of whatever type of crew. But I think Toronto is still trying to figure out their what makes them them. But I think that's hip hop in general now. Yeah. Because New York used to have a certain sound with the boom bap. Yeah. West Coast used to have the sound with the G funk. Yeah. You know, the South used to have like trap and the bounce and all that other stuff. But those things, someone from New York can make bounce music now. Yeah. You know, someone from LA can make boom bap now.
Yeah. Just look at the traveling and drill music.
Yeah, right.
You know, exactly. So drill music starts out in Chicago. They do it one way. They're inspired by trap music in Atlanta. Yep. And then, boom, Brooklyn, London. They have their own. They add their own little spin. Yeah. Now Toronto has their own little flex on it. You know, so it's true. I think that the internet age has allowed a lot more stylistic liberty to be taken with a lot of these artists, and I think that that's a good thing because I think that gives a little bit more credence to the artsy kid, to the goon, to the whoever, that they can jump in and out of subgenres without really being scrutinized. You know, in '92, if a dude from LA was making music that wasn't G-funk, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we know because they're now considered underground. You know, people like Loonies and Del the Funky Homo Sapien and all these guys, they were kind of making music that was not that, and they were just like, you know, like this is our sound. You got to stick with our sound. So I do respect the fact that you guys can recognize that it's kind of brought to a global scale. Yeah. And I want to talk about that on you guys' record. You guys have a very underground 90s style that I really appreciate.
That's what got me into that,
Which, by the way, just listen part 3, A Trip Through Toronto, available now, Spotify.
Respect.
There you go.
I was like thrown at work, not listening to nobody, just listening to my ears.
Now I know some people are kind of sensitive about putting their government information out there. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'm not on the run, so that's all good.
There you go.
I'm 28.
28. All right. And 28 years old. You say you've been started since you were since around 2008. Yeah. There is a million different styles that you could draw from. Why this style particularly?
Well, you know what? Ever since I was like 5, 6 years old, that's kind of the music I've been hearing. That's all the music I've been hearing. So, you know, back in 2001, that's when I gained like most of my memories, right? That's when I started to gain memories. So I remember like when Aaliyah died. I remember 9/11, and I remember like when Ludacris was putting on music and stuff like that. Like, yo, we have the credentials sometimes to become successful and to talk, not even just a podcast, people who run record labels, the gatekeepers of the city, like the people who are on top of the city. I don't like I said, I don't need to say names, but what I'm gonna say is that there's people that run this city. There's people that are rappers and entertainers that won't give you a chance because you're not talking about sliding on ops, bro. Yeah. They won't give you a chance because you're not willing to compromise yourself.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because it feels very similar to kind of the 90s gangster rap era, where a lot of people had to create personas in order to just get put on. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think anybody can look at a dude like Ludacris and be like, that's not your life. No disrespect to Ludacris. Like, he's a fantastic entertainer. That's not his life. That's not who you know what I mean? He was a DJ before he was before he was rapping.
He came from a good home.
And a lot of Toronto people get sucked up into that system as well. Yeah. You know, a lot of dudes in shiesty masks with good families in a semi-detached house.
That's another topic too. The city that I was raised in. Yeah. Brampton.
Yeah. Yo. Talk on it.
Talk on it. We're listening. Go. Right. Rolling.
So,
go.
Yo, there's a lot of people that I went to school with, I went to high school with, went to elementary school with. Whatever ethnic background they're a part of. Acting like they're shooters and killers and all this stuff. Some of them are not in the right head and became those things in Brampton, and you know, innocent people have had to lose their life for nonsense, which I don't advocate for any of that. I don't support or appreciate any of that stuff. But all I have to say is that, like, you know, you're not from the ends, like you're not from the block, like you're not a goon, you're not a gangster. You grew up in a semi-detached or a detached home. Your dad was rich enough to give you a car when you were 16. Like, so it's like, just cut it out.
And
real.
What I find funny about that is because his experience and my experience, like, I grew up in Malvern. Like, I moved to Malvern when I was like 11 or something like that, 10, 11. And like, it's funny because, look, I was never in it. Like, I'm not, you know, like, I'm not, but I was, you know, I was around the people, and like, to be honest, it's funny because those are kind of the people that the real guys laugh at. To be honest, like, if any of my guys saw them, like, they would have burst out laughing.
Like, they have no reason to boast that they've
and that's it. Like, most of those kinds of people aren't like acting hard. No, like, some of the hardest people that I met were honestly kind of nice people. Like, they're kind of nice people outside of.
You have to be a jerk to somebody because it's part of the persona of whatever your rap culture is. But that's not what it is. I mean, again, like we said, there's a lot of people within rap music that are not about that life.
Well, it's also, I think, the power of media corruption, right? Like how it is that they kind of force certain images of us, and then we correlate those images with blackness, and we correlate that blackness with community. My mother grew up in the South Bronx in projects, and the first thing that she told me about people from the projects is that they do not want people to know they're from the project. As soon as
you don't want anyone to know that. No one wants to know that you got cockroaches like all over
like they would lie about their
addresses. Nobody wants to know that. Nobody wants you to know that.
The first thing that you find out about a lot of this culture that gets promoted is that a lot of these people just feel like they can't find a home in this music culture unless they're pretending to be a certain way. And I hope that the next generation and crop of rappers are up to the challenge of dispelling that. Because
can I just add though that I will say I agree with you completely, but I feel like money talks nowadays. And I don't agree with it necessarily, right? But the rap industry is it's the rap business, you know? And like, once again, I don't agree, but unless, like, it's either gonna have to come from the top, or us as a generation, as like, or the next people coming up are gonna have to shift their focus. Because it's being pushed to us, but like, people listen to it, right? At the end of the day, like, there are people making millions, billions of dollars off of the genre. And so, unless, and there's a couple people I've seen that have been like really trying to shift the focus and like just change the way we think about it and change the way that we view like catchy rap songs talking about like killing people and stuff. And like, I appreciate that that's happening. I just hope that we can all, you know, like contribute and just shift our focus to the talented artists that aren't talking negatively, I guess.
Amen.
Wow.
Ultimately, I'm gonna focus on myself, man.
No, for real.
I'm not responsible for what the next man does. I can want and hope and want and I would want somebody to do something great in life and to be a positive figure and to stand for something and to have integrity and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you're just gonna compromise yourself for $1, if you're just gonna let somebody have full control of your person because you want to get paid, then that's on you. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna inspire the people I inspire, because the people that I inspire are people that inspire me back. And at the end of the day, like, we can't really worry about the state of hip hop, because every now and then, like, hip hop is kind of like a coin. It flips on heads or tails. You know, in 2013 was one of my favorite years in hip hop because we had some of the greatest people that I really mess with. Like I said, Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake, Wale, all those guys Kendrick named on Crichlow. You know,
Big Mills, Big Crit,
right?
Danny Brown,
right? Yellow,
amazing,
Right. So what's the next stage for you? What's next? What's your next project coming up?
Alright, so basically, my next project, I'm taking like this whole entire year to work on the next project because I don't want to just drop anything, right? I don't want to just release music that's like fillers or whatever and stuff like that. Subpar music.
Subpar music.
I want to release music that is meaningful and means something. You know what's funny? As of like the recent like weeks, I've been listening to a lot of like more melodic music, more melodic hip hop, and just music with melody in general. Like there's a singer, her name is Crichlow Soul.
Oh, everybody knows about that one.
Yeah,
she's
I listen to her.
Angel.
Yeah, not to say I can sing like her. Right.
Hey, you don't know. We don't know.
Well, you know, if I train my vocals enough, I can sing good.
There you go.
Yeah, everybody needs a little training. Not everybody can sing, but as long as you got a basis, you can learn. You know what I mean?
You know, her, not even just her. Like I've been listening to a lot of like trap or trappier, bouncier beats with more like with the higher hi-hats and like beats with the, well, I don't know the terms, but like
we talking like
mainstream.
Yeah, we talking like Gunna. We talking like
Gunna. Young Thug. Future.
Yeah.
Lil Yachty.
I like Lil Yachty. I like Key Glock, and I like Peasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those beats. The beats with the snap in it a bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've been listening to some stuff like that, so I've been experimenting with like those types of songs, right? And I've been experimenting with songs that are like more catchier with the children of today as well. Although I have the Nas's, the Biggies, the Rakims, the Slick Ricks, you know, I listen to a lot of Boogie Down production. Like I think KRS-One is one of the greatest of all time.
You
know what I mean?
Underrated sometimes.
But you know what? I think I've always found that is the best basis for an artist. You know, it's the people who can do this, but I'm also going to give you this. You know what I mean?
Chameleons.
It's why J. Cole always works.
Yeah.
Right.
J. Cole started off with a very like Joey Badass bass. You know what I mean? Like it was very like, this is, I'm bringing the real back. I'm bringing the real hip hop back. But man, when he slides on a track with Future or with Wayne or with Drake or whoever, he kills every single time. And we need more artists like that.
Do you feel like you're a chameleon in a way? Do you feel that you could change yourself up whenever you feel
I'm becoming
like
more of a chameleon. It was harder a couple years ago. Before, it didn't feel natural to me because all I listened to was just like mid and late 90s East Coast hip hop. You know, that's my base. Mid and 90s East Coast hip hop is like my foundation into the game. You know, I also love a lot of West Coast music, like the Hieroglyphics, right? You know, all, like the Del, Funky like Homo Sapien. You know, Farside is one of my favorite hip hop groups ever. Right?
Drop.
One
of the greatest songs ever written.
Yeah, me and my producer Frizzy, we were just listening to Drop and Run It in the car because we were listening to a lot of like J Dilla production, like in the car earlier and stuff like that. And I love Madlib, like Quasimodo and stuff like that. You know, I really like. There's a guy named Mike. He's more newer. This guy named Mike, and he raps over what I call like drumless soul. So it's like just looping the drum samples, maybe speed them up, or even if it's slowed down, you're just rapping on it, like Alchemist.
I was just about to say a little like Alchemist and Derringer.
That whole camp's going crazy. Right?
For the record, I just want to put this out there. All right, this is setting the bar for all the next interviews. I need y'all to know. I need people who know their music.
This is why I brought him on here. I said this kid ain't like nobody else. He's different.
This is what we need.
Yeah, this is where it should be going. This is where rap in Toronto should be going, ladies and gentlemen.
I get you somebody who listening to Alchemist and Crichlow Soul.
Yeah, together.
And Future.
And Future.
My favorite singer, Sade. I have a tattoo of her on my right shoulder.
All right, so quick thing before you go, before we let you go. Give me about 5 Toronto rappers that you think should be on this show.
Alright, let me do that. I'm gonna start it off. When we say Toronto,
I'm a Canadian.
When we say Toronto, we mean
around the city.
You know, I think that they should be on the show. Tell us to do a show. We'll reach out to them. We'll try and get them on the show.
100%. Alright, we'll do it like this. Number 1 on that list, Real Ash. He's a wicked beatboxer. Wicked beatboxer.
And we need a demonstration on the show.
Yes.
1,000%.
We'll bring some beats up for you. We'll get you to do some stuff.
Yes. Number 2, Smalls.
Facts.
Yes.
Smalls.
Right now.
My brother Smalls.
Now. I'm telling you.
That's right.
I like this guy.
Smalls, he said over
Tell
here
y'all.
next week. Smalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll reach
Yeah,
out to you.
immediately.
All right.
Who else? A young rapper named Gritfall from the Bakers
Yep.
Club.
Yeah.
Alright.
Shout out to the Bakers Club, by the way.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm wearing some of their gear, Ras Fresco's gear.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Right.
Another rapper, from Toronto. There's a guy named Miggs. He's real dope, and I'm about to link up with him, maybe next weekend or something. Miggs, he's real dope.
All right.
I had a couple freestyle ciphers with him. He's real dope. For the 5th spot, Ghost Boy RJ. Shout out to Ghost Boy. Shout out to the whole Ghost Town Records.
Yep.
All of those guys should come out.
I want to know exactly where it is that we can find you gentlemen on the webs.
Yes, please.
Plug yourselves,
Right.
please.
On Instagram, for me, is TMG_Yonge Garvey. So it's TMG_YONGEGARVEY.
Yes, sir. And for me, on Instagram, is KOD is missing. I'm not gonna spell missing for you. So yeah. And if you look up Joey Rose on any of the streaming platforms, you'll hear some of my stuff.
Okay.
A lot of it with this guy. So yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the
Gentlemen,
show, guys.
it has
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been
Fantastic
great.
meeting
Yeah,
both of you
appreciate
guys.
it. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
guys
you
so
so
much.
much.
Much
It was
love.
real.
It was
Thank
real.
you so much. I appreciate you.
No,
I
much
appreciate
love.
you coming
Thank
through.
you.
Like,
We're just getting started, man.
yeah, man.
Man.
We're gonna have you back.
And I was gonna
We're
say,
have
like,
you
y'all
back.
get comfortable. You
Yeah,
gonna have you right back.
Please.
We love it. And whenever
Yeah.
you guys have anybody that want to come on the show, you can contact us. Crash Course Rap Culture. Hit us up in our DMs. We'll have you come on the show. You can talk real hip hop rap, Toronto rap here. We don't
Amen.
mess around. We don't play around. It's
We
all
don't
about
do
making sure
gossip
everybody
columns. We don't do messy.
Nope.
We talking about the music. We
You're
talking about the culture.
music. We're talking about the culture. Yeah.
The truth.
The
Amen.
truth. Yeah, truth.
Is here.
All right. We'll see you guys next
That's
time.
it.
Crash Course Rap Culture.